it's Miss Paredes, and today we are going to be doing the drawing portion of our 1 point perspective aquarium. So you're going to need your pencil, you're going to need a ruler, and you're going to need a piece of drawing paper. You're going to make sure your drawing paper is held horizontally, so that means it's a little longer and not as tall. Now we're going to take our pencil and we're going to find about the center of our page and we're going to make a dot. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. And this is going to be called our vanishing point. That means everything's going to lead up to that dot. So if you think that's about the middle, if you need to erase and kind of move your pencil over, that's fine too. Now from your vanishing point, we're going to make a diagonal line. So that's from one corner to the other with our ruler. Now I like to line up my ruler with one corner of the paper, hold it there, and then I can move it so that it hits that vanishing point. All right, and you're only going to do a line from that corner to the vanishing point, just like this. All right, now you're going to do that with each of the other corners of your paper, lining up the vanishing point and the corner to make a diagonal line. Some people might want to automatically just kind of line this corner up with this corner here and just make a big X, but that actually isn't really going to work out in the end. It just doesn't line up right. So make sure you make your vanishing point and then line up your corners. And once you are done with that, we're now going to make the floors of our aquarium. Okay, and actually now that I look at this might not be in the center, and you know what? That's okay. We're going to make it work and it looks good. So to make the floor, we're going to line up our ruler at the bottom of our paper and make sure it is horizontal. So there's a line going horizontally right here. The bottom of the ruler is lined up with the bottom of the paper, and from this line to this line, we're going to make a horizontal line. So I'm just going to include it in this little section here. So when I move my ruler out of the way, you can see that horizontal line. Now I'm going to continue up in this triangular looking section. I'll start here. Now I'm going to line up my ruler with this line. Make sure it's lined up nicely. I like to spread my fingers apart so that my ruler is nice and still. Make my horizontal line. I'm going to do the same here. Line up my ruler, hold it tight, and make a horizontal line in that section. There we go. And some of you might be able to fit like maybe one more line or one less line. It's just up to you how many you're able to fit. So that's what we have right now. We have our vanishing point, our diagonal lines leading to the vanishing point and to each corner, and horizontal lines in this bottom section here. Now we're going to make the walls of our aquarium, and how we're going to do that is similar to what we did here, but we're going to put our ruler and line it up on the edge of the paper here vertically, straight up and down, line it up. Okay, now you want to make sure that the ruler touches this first horizontal line here. If it doesn't, just be very careful and move your ruler so that it does. And we're going to make a vertical line just in this section here. So from this line to this line. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing like you did here. You're going to line up the side of your ruler on this edge, and you're going to make a line here, but again you want it to line up with the next line. So I need to move mine over just a tiny bit. Okay, and I'm just moving it over, lining up my ruler to that last line I made. And you can see here, I have a little bit of space, so I'm going to move my entire ruler over just a little bit, just like that. so it fits. All right, it's kind of starting to look like a corner of a square. All right, and we're going to do exactly what we did on this side over on this side. So we'll take our ruler, line it up with the edge of our paper. And you can see a little better here how my ruler does not line up with this. And so I'll take my ruler, make sure it's still very straight. Make sure that it's lined up with this line down here. I'll move this over. See how I'm using one hand at the top of my ruler and one hand at the bottom? This is going to help me keep it as straight as possible so that everything lines up. Alright, now I have the flooring, this part of the flooring here, which is a few horizontal lines, and I have the walls here, which are some vertical lines. Now let's make the ceiling, and how we're going to do that, we're just going to put our ruler off to the side, and we're going to make a curved line. It's going to kind of look like a tunnel in an aquarium. So we want to make a curved line for the ceiling area. Now I have my first set of vertical lines, and I just want to slowly and carefully make a curved line. And it's best to do this very lightly with your pencil, because if you need to fix anything up or adjust the way that it curves, you can do that easily and erase some of those extra marks later. So I'm going to match up these two vertical lines, making a curved line like this. And I think it's great to do it in little sections. It's easiest for me because then I can really match up those lines. Now, for the last set, I don't want to squeeze in that line. I don't have a lot of room. I don't want to squeeze it in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that the line is going off of the paper. This is going to help with the illusion and help it make it look a little more real. So from this vertical line, I'm making my curved line. And what I would do is I'm kind of following it with my pencil, but not actually drawing. Okay. And I'm only drawing the part that's on the paper. So I'm pretending that it's going off the page, just like that. Once you're done with that, we have our basic layout for our aquarium. We have two walls, we have a ceiling, and we have floors. Now we're going to add a few details on the floor to make them look like a checkerboard. It's going to come out really cool. Now we have our ruler, and I'm sure you already know that these numbers represent inches. The bigger ones, the ones that are spread out more, are inches, and the ones that are smaller and close together are centimeters. We're going to be using inches, and you're going to line your ruler up at the bottom of your paper, and you are going to measure out about every 2 inches. So you make sure that your ruler's lined up, and you count 1, you make a mark at number 2, 3, make a mark at number 4, 5, make a mark at number 6, 7, make a mark at number 8, 9, make a mark at number 10, and you should have a few little marks at the bottom, and that's going to be our guide to make our flooring. Now we want to go back to this vanishing point, and we want to line up our ruler with the vanishing point and our first mark here. So make sure those are lining up. Now I'm not going to go ahead and make a straight line. I'm actually going to skip this first little section here, this kind of triangle section, but I'm still going to have it lined up, so I'm actually going to start at this line, and I'm going to make a line. But see how it would still line up to my vanishing point? That's what I want to make sure I'm doing, because that will help with the illusion. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the other ones. Line it up with my vanishing point and my next mark. and start at this line right here. Vanishing point, my next mark, start drawing right here, but still making sure that's touching and that's connected. All right, and there I have starting to be my checkerboard. The last thing I want to do is this first section up here, the one that's closest to the vanishing point. All I'm going to do is take my ruler, line it up with one of the lines, and bring it down. I'm going to make a horizontal line so it kind of cuts it in half. And that helps with the illusion to make it look like they're squares, and that just helps it make it look like it's going back into space because these start to get smaller. So when we're looking at 1 point perspective, things that are closer to us are going to look bigger, and things that are farther away from us are going to look smaller, and that helps with that illusion. The last thing I'm going to do for today is I'm going to take a black crayon. I'm going to take a black crayon. You can use a black marker or a black colored pencil if you'd like to, but I'm going to use a crayon, and I'm going to go over all of these lines that I just made. If you feel more comfortable using your ruler, just to make sure your lines are super straight, I would suggest doing that. If you feel confident and you want to do it without a ruler, you can. I like to use a ruler because it just makes me very sure that I'm making the right lines. So go ahead and outline every line that we made today. And there I have it, my finished outline of my 1 point perspective aquarium. Now, next week, or next time I meet with you, I think tomorrow, we're going to finish these up. So right now we have the drawing. It looks wonderful. We used our 1 point perspective, and I'll see you next time to finish this up and add some color and designs.